What is up, Primes? Nathonis here, back with another video. This is something different. Again, I know I say that all the time, like, this is something different, this channel will never be consistent. If anything, it's consistently inconsistent. But no, this is legitimately different because this is a school project. Help me. Alright, so what we're going to be covering is a little topic referring to the technology of Canada. How has it improved our way of life, essentially from the 80s to now? Well, there are three ways that you can look at it. One, communication has been vastly improved. Since the invention of the telephone, people have been able to communicate long distances without having to rely on pen and paper, and 9 times out of 10 a carrier pigeon. So, with the invention of, telephones, cell phones, messaging, all that kind of stuff, we've been able to communicate with people on the other side of the planet in a matter of seconds. Like, that's how quick it is. Like, as I was starting this, I was actually watching a live stream of somebody who's on the other side of the planet. Like, how is that possible? Well, I'll get into that now for my second point. The internet. Gotta love the internet. This has been the most controversial topic since the 80s, and that's not an exaggeration. The internet has literally been around since January 1st, 1983. I don't exactly know why it was created. I guess it was mostly a military thing. But 1983, the internet was invented, and then later, the World Wide Web was invented, or called into action, more or less, by Tim Berners-Lee. Now, the internet and communication kind of go hand in hand, whereas without one, the other is kind of useless. But most children nowadays, my age, younger, maybe even older, they're all tied to the internet in some way. Like, they're stuck to the internet, social media, all that stuff. And everybody says that it's bad. Everybody's like, oh, those darn kids on their cell phones and their Facebooks and Twitters and stuff like that. And yes, it has become a bit, I'd say, compulsive. Almost everybody uses social media now, but it's not necessarily a bad thing. Because, well, the topic of this whole thing is how has it essentially improved our way of life? Well, everybody says that the internet is useful. Everybody also says that it can also be taken too far. We'll put it that way. And yes, some people use the internet for some very questionable things at best. But at the very least, like literally the very least, it has allowed us to connect in a different way that we haven't been able to before. Now, the sad thing is, sometimes you'll have people who are sitting right next to each other, texting each other, and, it's like, why don't you just talk? Well, you could chalk it up to laziness. I mean, I'm lazy, but I don't really put in the effort to be that lazy. Like, I'm so lazy, I won't pick up my phone. Like, my phone. Like, I'll just scream. Like, you want to talk to me? Just talk to me. Don't text me. I'm literally yelling at somebody who's on the other side of the city. So, am I a troglodyte? Maybe a little bit. Now, social media and the internet, that feeds into my third point, entertainment. how do you determine entertainment on the internet? Like, I'm going to get the bad stuff out of the way. Entertainment on the internet is literally where the term controversy comes from. Like, you could post something completely objective and just, it's your own thing, it's your own creation, your own form of wanting to entertain people. That's what I do. I create things to put out there to entertain people. But the thing is, you'll have people who will spread hate about this thing. Sometimes for no reason, sometimes for a very valid reason. Now, the fact that people would do that, that's kind of where the entertainment factor falls apart. But looking at the bright side, without the internet, where would we be? Like, without modern technology, would entertainment be the same thing it is today? Not really, actually. What do we get entertainment from? TVs, phones, Netflix, video games, heck, just messaging somebody. Sometimes people get entertainment out of that. That's fine, Would we be able to do that without the technology we have? Probably not. It got a real kick in the behind in the 80s, It got an upgrade of serious firepower with the internet. This is the center of modern technology. Like, first thing that comes to mind when you think technology, I limit it to around the 80s, is the internet. Like, that is the definition of technology. Now, unfortunately, people will use all three of these things very wrong. Communication, people will use, their forms of communication in very wrong ways. People will use the internet in very explicit and damaging ways. I think damaging is the perfect word. And entertainment will always, and I'm not making this up, entertainment will always be divisive. Nobody will be able to decide this is good, this is bad. A lot of people will say it's in between, it's meh, it's okay, it's not so good, or, you'll have people who will just straight up hate something just because it's there. I know in my case that's very true, Like, my content, without modern technology, my content would not exist, and yet people still hate on it. Does that mean that people hate on modern technology? No, but people do. That's a troglodyte. That's somebody who's been living under a rock. Technology is so important to our daily lives now that it's just like, if we don't have it, well, we're essentially screwed. But if we do have it, it's something to nitpick. Lights, for instance. If we didn't have those, we'd be using candles and we'd be like, are you kidding me? Like, why? And then when you get lights, people are going to be like, it's not bright enough, or it's not the right color, or it's not my favorite kind of light bulb. Well, that's my point. Modern technology is divisive. It is complicated. It is a mixed bag. You will never get something that 100% of the people like, because if you do, chances are it's probably fake. Is modern technology fake? Yes, and it is kind of an easy way out, but it's definitely better than sitting by a fire with nothing but a few sticks and stones and stuff like that. Like, just sitting on a mountain with a fire, nothing but a log, a few sticks, a few rocks, maybe a leaf. Like, we're not Cro-Magnons anymore. We need this technology. Like, we actually need it. Because without it, we'd all shrivel up into little balls of paper and, well, we'd fall apart as a society. Not that we aren't already, but, like, humanity depends on this stuff. Humanity needs technology, it needs, communication, internet, entertainment. Without entertainment, what have we got? We just got... We got a little stick that we can just poke bugs with. Is that fun? Is that really fun? Is that the highlight of entertainment? Why watch that when you can watch people fail at surfboarding?